Hello, everyone. This is Tony Cross, and we're here for the Referral Wave, BNI Sunshine's Coast's very own podcast. By day, I've got a car brokering business, Drive Connect, but today I'm here with Damon from Odyssey Legal. We're going to talk all things his BNI experience. Welcome along.
Oh, thanks for having me on the podcast. It's a pleasure to jump on.
I think you might be the first sort of solicitor lawyer in your field that we've had, so it'll be good. We're spreading the network, getting varied people on here as much as we can.
I always like to hear that. I'm somewhat competitive, so it's good to hear that I'm first in something.
Great. Look, so let's get straight into it. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
Yeah, thanks very much. So Odyssey Legal is a litigation disputes and kind of business firm. My background is in commercial litigation disputes, so handling everything from neighborhood disputes to large shareholder disputes. When I came out initially in August last year to open Odyssey Legal, I was gonna flow on with that sort of work because that was my background. But as I've kind of progressed, I realized that I actually really like helping businesses in the front end, whether it's to scale or whether it's just to reach their full potential is what I like to say. So I've done a bit of a pivot. I'm still doing a lot of disputes. That's obviously my main bread and butter, but I'm slowly trying to pivot toward doing a lot more business front end stuff. So that way businesses don't have to worry about the legal issues. They can just focus on growing their business without, any sort of issues.
Yeah, so that's when you say at the front end, so that'd be like getting, if I'm a contractor, terms and conditions right, and making sure that so that if the worst happens, then you've got some basis to come back on, right?
Yeah, exactly right. All the contracts, whether it's employment agreements, contractor agreements, supply agreements, all that sort of thing. So that way you've got a good legal foundation. So that way, yeah, as you said, if something goes wrong, then we go, all right, we've got good contracts. We can sort this out relatively easy. Because there's a lot of businesses that come to me and they don't have anything in place, and I go, okay, so we're starting from scratch. And then they go, oh, but we've also got this dispute, this dispute, this dispute. I'm like, all right, well, where's your contract? Oh, we don't have any. So we're essentially trying to pick up the pieces and clean that up so that way moving forward, they don't have the similar issues. One success story I always like to talk about is one of my main first clients that came across. Similar situation, had some sort of contracts, but not great. Redid them, sorted out all their disputes to the point they rang me in December last year and said, like, we're cool, like, we got no issues. There's no debtors, no disputes, like, we're just clear. And then they've just, I think March this year, they opened up like a second conjoining business to run concurrently with their main one. And I was like that's a Cinderella story. You don't really get a lot in my line of work with the dispute side of things, but like that's what I love seeing that happen.
Yeah. So is it fair to say that a lot of people start their own business and that sort of thing without coming to someone like yourself first to get all that straightened out?
I'd assume so, based on my experience. I think they look at the cost more than anything rather than the outcome. So they go, oh, it's going to cost a couple grand to get these contracts drafted, but they don't realize that that couple grand could save you tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars down the track when it does go wrong. And being a new small business myself, I can completely understand that. When you don't really have any cash flow coming in, you're wary of where your money is actually going to go.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. No, good advice. So look, how did you get to join BNI then? So you're obviously pretty new business, but you've done really well at BNI. You're in the green, you're in a good chapter and all that sort of thing. So tell us a little bit about that journey joining.
Yeah, so I was back in 21, 22, in the same chapter, but just under a different firm.
Okay.
I was with Miller Sockhill at that time, and Rachel Clutterbuck, the property lawyer, is still in our chapter at the
Yep.
moment. And I thank her a lot for it because she was my coach essentially back in the day. But yeah, I was with BNI through Miller Sockhill at that stage for about maybe a year or two. And then I got a new job up in Noosaville, and the boss at the time didn't really want to pay for it. So I was like, oh, well, that's fair. So I took a break. And then as soon as I opened my own firm, I'm like, oh, I work from home, so I need to get out and about. So initially, I joined back up for the social aspect because I know that my area that the litigation stuff is a bit hard for me to get work from or referrals from. So initially, it was just going into it, going, all right, it's the social aspect. If I get work out of it, great. And then I think this time, because I'm in my own firm rather than someone else's firm, I've either sold it better, I'm more confident, or I've just got skin in the game, so I've got something to lose. I've actually done really well out of it. I've got good referrals, built really good business partnerships, and all that sort of stuff this time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. So have you been around and visited other chapters in that very much?
I've been to CBD and what's the one in Clounder at the moment? Is it Aura? I can't remember.
Yeah.
The one at Meriden Community Centre.
Right, yeah, yeah, Aura, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's not, I mean, I haven't come across anyone else on the coast, specializing in what you do as far as in BNI goes.
Yeah, so I was trying to hop around with the newborn son recently. It's a bit harder.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, that was my plan. So I've just actually found out that although they don't necessarily advertise it, but yeah, there was one in what's her name, Cian in Goodlaw. She actually does the same thing. I didn't even realize. But yeah, similar thing. I looked around, worked out, where there's kind of the gaps because I don't necessarily like I understand BNI's culture is that one person per chapter.
yeah,
So I don't necessarily want to step on anyone's toes. And obviously, if I'm going there and they advertise, they do what I do. Obviously, I try and give a bit of a heads up to say, hey,
yeah,
look, is it okay if I come visit? Just looking to branch out a
yeah.
bit. Mm.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Now you talked about that success story there a little bit earlier, but what other sort of great have you got a good success story out of BNI since you've been a member that you can share with everyone?
Yeah, success story, I guess, for me was as I said, I feel like this time I've sold myself or what I actually do, or sorry, the outcome of what I do or the result a lot better this time to the point where, I've got clients out of BNI that are now wanting to stay on a retainer, which is, they pay a fixed monthly fee, but if anything comes up, they just ring me and it gets sorted.
Yeah,
And similar to that other success story, our initial approach is once the client comes on board, we go through basically fix their whole legal foundation to make sure their contracts are compliant, and then they just kind of have me in their back pocket whenever they need me. That was probably my main success one. So I came in looking just to get enough referrals to cover the yearly fees or whatever it was, and I think I've done 10, 20 times that already. So
yeah, that's fantastic. And as you grow and you get out there more as well, that'll only just grow bigger and bigger because, I mean, you're basically looking after that legal entity of small businesses, and that's what BNI is full of, isn't it? So
oh,
there's
100%.
plenty of opportunity out there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's probably something to do with ego as well, but I always love being that guy that people can turn to. I always have the occasional call from members in the chapter, and it may not necessarily require like full kind of legal proceedings or full
Yeah.
involvement. But I'm happy to take a call from them and go, hey, look, just do X, Y, Z, and you can sort it out yourself, kind of from there. But if you need a hand, like just give me a call. I love being in a position where I can provide that assistance.
Yeah.
Obviously being a small business, I love the business and proper work coming in, but I'm always happy to give that out. And that's the motto I've had since starting Odyssey Legal. Like I've always wanted to be value driven rather than going, hey, look, nah, money first and then we can talk.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose it gets back to the giver's gain thing a little bit too, doesn't it? Like, I
Exactly
mean, you
right.
might give that person a bit of half-hour phone advice,
Yeah.
but then, it probably comes back, tenfold at the time.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's a thing too in our industry is because a lot of people, they're pretty lucky, even if they haven't had proper contracts, they don't necessarily get in disputes. So they don't actually see how I operate, how I can resolve things. So giving, a bit of my time, they can get a bit of insight into how I actually work. So it's twofold essentially.
Yeah, no, great. Look, how has BNI helped you solve any problems in your business? Have you used the BNI network to help you out at all?
Yeah, yeah. So with a lot of stuff we deal with, it's come in handy having, building inspector. We do a lot of building disputes, building inspector, insurer, everything in your back pocket essentially that you can go, hey, just go talk to this guy, go talk to this person, like, and doing that's allowed up me rather than having to go search to try and build a proper connection outside of BNI to just go, look, he's in my chapter. I've spoken to him. I had a one-on-one. I like how he operates. Here's his card. Go give him a call, and I know he'll look after you. That's, I think, the benefit of BNI to clients. That added value.
Yeah, it's good having your own little network, especially as you say. So would you use like building inspectors sometimes in your disputes, would you, and get them on board to do that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, say for instance, there's defective work, we'll get a building inspector to go look at it and go, all right, well, what's wrong with it? This and that. Um, I haven't lately, so I apologize to Ryan if he sees the podcast. I'm still hoping to use you eventually. Um, but even for like my own situations, at the last place we were renting, which was my parents' investment property, we noticed some mold and some moisture detection. I just gave Ryan a call and, out of the courtesy, he just turned up, did a bit of water testing for me, went through and was like, yeah, there's a leak there. You probably should make a claim to the insurer and get it sorted out ASAP before the mold spreads. And I was like, just that in itself is the beauty of BNI.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100% correct. Given your journey in BNI so far today, what's one good bit of advice you'd give to people that, if someone's listening to this, they're a new member, give us a bit of advice around that.
Yeah, and it's funny you asked that question because I actually had a similar conversation probably a couple of weeks ago with a new member in the Caloundra chapter, asking pretty much the same thing. And I'll probably say the exact same story as, you know, you get out of it what you put in. So if you're willing to turn up and not just kind of half-ass the meetings, and actually put some thought into your storytelling, put some time and energy into building those one-on-ones and your presentations each week, the better result you're going to get out of it. If you just turn up, go through the motions, then no one's going to really want to invest into you or refer to you because you don't have the energy to invest in the meetings. You don't have energy to invest in them. So why would they reciprocate that?
Yeah. And do you find you get a lot out of one-to-ones, when you're meeting people, you find out extra things that they might do in their business or something you didn't know, that they did. Do you get a lot of that out of it?
Yeah, 100%. And I find, a lot, well, most of it, is centered around business, but you also find that you actually build those connections when you learn that, external stuff. You've got a family, you had this issue, or, you find those random connections that actually make the relationship stronger. And it's not always business. It can be, you're talking about the family stuff, your lifestyle, whatever it is. And then you find that you go, oh, well, I'm connecting with this guy on this and this. And then you understand a bit more of how they operate, how they get to where they are, and how they make the decisions. And that can actually then benefit you in, when you refer clients to them because you go, this, I've know this guy well and truly now. I know how he operates. I know he's going to, operate in a way that I actually like it. So I'm going to refer clients to him.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier for you to refer to people, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It, if you don't know somebody, then like I know the principle of BNI is to refer within, your particular chapter. It just makes it, especially when I guess for us, we deal with very sensitive matters. People are maybe not quite a sensitive family law, but people could be out tens, hundreds, $500,000.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stress and energy involved. So when we send clients to someone, we want to make sure that they're going to be handled properly and they're going to be looked after. Because there's nothing worse than them coming back and going, "No, that was just not it for us."
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Because you're right. Sometimes it could be a very sensitive issue, and you just want to make sure that person's getting the same care and attention that you're giving. So I guess by having a one-to-one with other businesses, at least you know that they're on the same page or, the same sort of ethics as how you're running your business. Like keep the whole thing flowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, what's next on the horizon for Odyssey Legal?
Just keep growing, I guess. Get the brand out there, and just hopefully keep scaling up, and potentially bring some other lawyers on eventually. But at the moment, just keep doing what I'm doing. Keep helping clients where I can, giving out value where I can, and that's really all my goal is at this stage.
Yeah. And say again, how long have you been in as Odyssey Legal in Northern Lights for?
August last year is when I opened, or
Ah,
since
cool.
we started trading Odyssey Legal, and I think I joined October last year, so about a full year in Odyssey Legal.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, that's great. So what's one of the BNI core values that really resonates with you?
I think we touched on it earlier, but the giver's gain.
Yeah.
So for us, and the thing is, I understand that the legal industry it's got a high threshold to get into. Access to justice it's costly. So for us, or for me, when I started this firm, I wanted to have value provided wherever they came to us. Whether it's just the initial kind of free consultation, whether it's the free guides and templates that we put online, or the more cost effective templates for people to do it themselves rather than spending a fortune on a lawyer. I just wanted that givers gain approach in my business to the point where, if someone comes to me, they're at least walking away with some value or some clear avenue of how the issue can be resolved, not just going, oh, well, I don't know where I'm going. I'm stuck in the same place still.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. And how do people get in touch with you? Like how will we find out more about your business?
Oh, everywhere you look, you could probably find Odyssey Legal. I'm a bit of a fiend on social media. I like to be pretty consistent with it. So, obviously on the website www.odysseylegal.com.au. Otherwise, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, pretty much anywhere you type in Odyssey Legal, you'll probably find me.
Ah, great. So you've got a YouTube channel as well?
Yeah, it's I'm in the process of trying to prepare some like webinars to give a bit more information. At the moment, it's just kind of mirroring what I do on the social medias, but every avenue is a bit more exposure, and that's really all it's been used for at this stage.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, well, that's good. And they can always come down as a visitor with you to Northern Lights.
Exactly right.
Come down there for one of Wendy's cracker brekkies.
Oh, so good. I've had a few different breakfasts, and I was like, yeah, nothing kind of tops it.
No, that's it. Yeah, I've subbed a few times recently in the last month or so down there, and yeah, there's definitely nothing like Wendy's place for breakfast. So,
Awesome.
all right, Damon, look, it's been fantastic having you on. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day, and we wish you all the best in the future.